Good Monday morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is the 8th of July and just a quick look of some of the movers Friday, or one of them not moving so much. Meta platforms or Facebook pushed 5%, almost 6% higher Friday. New all-time high, testing the upper rising trend line in this channel here. But since it's not a strong resistance really, then I think we are likely to push higher. No divergence on the RSI. You can see how this is also RSI pushed higher. So really fairly strong move there, and looking at the weekly chart we can also see, since it's pushed to new highs, well, there's now potential up to around 600 level, 161.8 projection of this correction here. Well, it's just above 600, which is 1764 projection of this massive correction here back in 21-22. So really strong move there. And to demolish this bullish picture, well, first step would be to take out 493 and then 414, then well, it will really look bad. Another one that was not really moving Friday was Nvidia, one of the most traded stocks and also one of the most held stocks by our clients and probably with most other brokers' clients. And we can see it actually closed almost 2% down. However, it's still in this turnaround reversal case here. There's no divergence on the RSI. It is still in a positive sentiment. So it should push higher the next few days, but it seems like things are shifting a little bit. And if we're looking at a stock like Taiwan Semiconductor that was testing its all-time highs here Friday, pushing higher about 1%, positive sentiment, maybe a little bit of divergence. However, since it's a Taiwanese company, it is actually trading in Taiwan, and it was up 5% in trading this morning in Taiwan. So let's see when the market opens today. And we also have, you can trade pre-market when it opens a little bit later. So look out for TSM right there. It has to be noted, though, I have to say this, I'm a shareholder in TSM and in Meta. All right, moving on to the broader markets that was pushed higher Friday. Nasdaq 100 on its way to 20,500 level, to 100% of this, a 2.0 projection of this little correction here is at 20,483. I think we'll reach this possibly today. We have S&P 500 also pushing higher towards 5,600. I think we actually will see it around 5,700, around that level. Moving on to the European markets, we have EUROSTOXX 50 currently above 5,000, if it does close above 5,000 and above the cloud here. And it's very thin, this cloud area here, so maybe not stop, but it has established a bullish trend. Now we just need RSI to further confirm it, and if it needs to close above 60 at threshold, I think it will do that, and then we are looking at previous peaks here around 5,100. However, if it's being rejected and closing back below 5,000, well, then it could spell a little bit of trouble for EUROSTOXX 50. DAX also pushing higher, 18,630. Key resistance, you can also see that the RSI is knocking on the 60 threshold. If DAX closes above this resistance and RSI above 60 threshold, well, then there's potential higher to previous peak and 19,000. Amsterdam index is still holding on above this rising trend line here. So we are still in a bullish trend despite showing divergence, but it can go on for quite some time. So we're still fairly strong, and it's most likely being lifted also by ASML, which is in the semiconductor business. The French market opened lower this morning, but has since seen quite strong bids following the election day yesterday. currently testing 77.25 resistance here. If it does close above, well, then we could see another push towards 7,900. However, we are still in a negative sentiment, but I think we will also have that RSI to test the 60 threshold. So maybe a little bit of relief rally, because now there's a little bit some certainties, but also a lot of uncertainty. So still expect some volatility in the CAC index in the coming weeks. It's probably not over down there in France with the noise. Swiss markets are still in this range between 11,955 and 12,182. Euro dollar saw crawling higher. Friday opened a little bit lower this morning, but it's now back above here, 108.16. And we could see it pushing higher towards 108.52. Minor resistance. We are in a positive sentiment. We are in a bullish trend. So I think we will see it pushing higher towards 109 here in the coming days. We are above the cloud. All moving averages are rising. So euro dollar seems to be well on the way to push higher in coming days and possibly weeks also. Euro sterling, on the other hand, that was very close this morning to test the support around 84.28, 84.30 support. If we have another go at it, a real go at it, we didn't really touch it this morning, but if we do have another go at it, and if we get the RSI back below 40, well, then I think it will push through, and then we are looking at 84. Otherwise, we could see a little bit of bounce. But look at these moving averages; they're all declining. So the underlying medium-term trend is down for euro sterling. Cable sterling dollar pushing higher. That opened also a little bit lower this morning, but it's pushing higher towards 129. Positive RSI or sentiment RSI above 60, no divergence. I think we will see it pushing higher towards 129 here in coming days. Dollar yen has started a correction. The question is, how big will it be? There is potential down to around 159, the 38.2 retracement here. We should see that, but the RSI is still in a positive sentiment despite showing some divergence. You will see this peak over here is higher than this one. That is divergence because this corresponds to this and the new all-time high here. So I think we'll see a little bit of a correction below 160 here in the next couple of days. But if it takes out the peak here at 161.95, well, then it's pushing higher above 162.5. Euro yen, on the other hand, not much of a correction really, pushing towards the previous peak here, very close to. If it takes it out, well, then we are looking at 176.5 around that level, 176.42, which is 161.8 of this massive correction here. We could push out higher in coming days. Otherwise, I would expect a correction down to around 172, 171.85, but very strong bullish sentiment on euro yen, so I think we will see it push higher. Also yen also trying to stay up here. There's no divergence on the RSI, really supporting higher levels, but I mean, we are ripe for a correction after almost 6 weeks of straight bullish trend, straight almost every single day. There are only a few down days. We do need a correction to get some energy higher. So brace yourself, and if you're long, have your stops tight. If we take out Friday's low, maybe that could trigger it. Friday's low is around 107.89. So keep an eye on that one. Sterling yen also trying to push higher here and looking at 207.5. Can it get there? And as we talked about, a 214. There's no strong resistance, at least until then. That doesn't mean it will go straight up there, but it does mean that the RSI is in a positive sentiment and it is pointing higher. Whether we'll get to 214 or not is of course debatable. Also, I would say Friday's low at 204.98. If it takes out that, well, then it could be a warning of a correction. Aussie dollar pushing slowly higher towards strong resistance at 68.70. Don't think it will hit that in one go, but we are definitely pushing towards 68. There's no divergence on our side pointing higher. Dollar Canada, still this range here. Eventually it will break out. Now it seems like it will be to the downside. Here it seems to be to the upside, and also here, but it's really without direction, just sideways direction, and the RSI is not giving me much. I mean, it bounced off the 40 down here, it was rejected at 60 here. So it's still, I would stay on the sideline a little bit for Dollar Canada if I was trading that. Euro Swiss, on the other hand, maybe that was the correction. As you can see, I drawn this. I did expect it to drop a little bit lower towards 96.5. It could still do that, and then I think it will pick up pace again, pushing higher. We actually did get the RSI spot on the 60 threshold, so the euro is still out, but I do think we will push higher in coming weeks. Also, if we're looking at the weekly chart, well, it is merely just a correction via positive sentiment, no divergence on the weekly, so it should see dollar Swiss pushing higher in coming, euro Swiss pushing higher in coming days. And moving on to dollar Swiss, well, correction possibly down to 61.8, retracement at 89.12, and then I think we will see it resuming, maybe resuming uptrend. But what is interesting is actually that the 55 moving average is kind of putting a little, putting a pressure on it, so we could be caught here, and I think we will actually see maybe even lower towards 89. It really needs to take out 90.5 and a change for upside potential. For now, I think we will drift lower here the next couple of days. Dollar index a little bit frustrating, but support at 104.26 could be tested. We have the 200 moving average here. What is interesting is that the 55 moving average is now pointing lower. We are below the cloud, and if we get RSI below 40, then expect a push down to around 103.68. Gold closed well above its minor resistance at 23.69, and now also Friday it closed above 23.88. It is in a bullish trend, positive sentiment on the RSI despite having some divergence, but I think we will see it pushing higher in the coming days and weeks towards previous all-time highs, but it could be a little bit of struggle. But see, we have the 55 moving average starting to turn around to 21, also trying to push higher here. We have the 100 coming down here. We are above the cloud. A little bit of a setback, and then I think we'll see buyers coming back in and lifting it. However, if it drops back below this falling trend line here, I will go back into neutral and say, okay, let's see what happens. Then maybe it could be, the uptrend could be demolished. Silver, on the other hand, very strong, closed well above its resistance at 30.85. Above 61.8 retracement, likely pushing higher. There's no divergence on the RSI. It is in a positive sentiment. I think we will see it a push here in the coming days and weeks towards the previous not all-time high, but previous peak at 32.5. Platinum closed Friday above key resistance. You can see several times it got rejected, 1,015. Now it's testing it once again. What is interesting is that the threshold, 60 threshold on the RSI was not broken, and that's actually quite interesting. But I think it will pick up pace again after setting back a little bit here. We have the 55 moving average coming up, 21 moving average coming up. So the underlying, as you can see, is the underlying sentiment is fairly strong. Finally, also palladium, when we are talking precious metals, palladium rejected at 1,048, spiked above there, couldn't hold the bond, got rejected again, and now it's selling off. However, we do have RSI in a positive sentiment, so I think we will just have a setback down to around 975 maybe, testing the falling trend line from the other side, and then it will try to push or resume uptrend again. And copper, 459 actually closed above at reached the 38.2 retracement of this sell-off here. We just need the RSI to close back above 60, which it didn't, but I think we will see it here in the coming days. Expect maybe a little bit of weakness, but I think it will slowly start crawling higher, and then we'll also get the RSI back above 60, meaning we will back in a positive sentiment. Next strong resistance, 487.75. It could slide back to 450. That doesn't mean it's over, but I will be a little bit cautious. But I think it will push higher in coming days. On the energy front, WTI was rejected at 84.64, selling off a little bit now here, and I think it could actually drop back to 81 level, 80s, but 60 around this level here. But we have the 100 coming up and the 21 coming up, but the 55 and 100, 200, they are kind of flat. So it's not the strongest upside, so expect a little bit of setback. But if it takes out that peak there at 84.46, then I think it will push higher. Brent has been lacking and now also a bit sluggy, so back towards the 85, 84 support area, but still a positive sentiment. Finally, not much to say on the US 10-year Treasury. There we are. Just dipped below 430, 426, and I think we will be in this range here for the foreseeable future. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.